Harry Baldock here, editor at Total Telecom. In today's telecoms market, 5G technology is gradually maturing and it's bringing with it a whole host of fresh opportunities for operators. But it's also changing the ecosystem, and that's bringing challenges too, meaning that the operators need to be more agile than ever before. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by John Giere, President and CEO of Optiva, who's here to share his thoughts on why cloud-native BSS and OSS are going to be part of the key to operator success in the coming years. John, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Harry. It's a pleasure to be with you.
John, I know you joined Optiva about a year ago now. Can you tell us about what the last year's been like for you in Optiva?
Well, it's been busy. What I focused on are kind of three essential components to making the company successful today and into the future. Number one, agile innovation. How do we be innovative but practical, helping our customers succeed? Number two, how do we create faster service velocity for our customers? What can we do to allow them to fail fast as we do here in Silicon Valley? And third, how do we take our mission critical expertise and create the next generation cloud version of that? Because we have an enormous amount of experience in helping customers be successful in very difficult terrains and very difficult problems. And I'd say already we're seeing a positive impact. We've raised $20 million of fresh capital to put after our principles here. We've doubled the size of our R&D group. In fact, Harry, 1 out of 3 employees has been employed by us over the last 12 months. And we've already secured a new logo cloud win in the Middle East. We have taken TruePhone, a large MVNO right near you in the UK, and taking them live on our charging platform, the Google Cloud platform. I believe it's the first and only one that exists in the world today. And finally, we've been making a big investment in automation. But so it's busy, as I said when I started out, but I'm very pleased with the progress we made.
Definitely sounds like an exciting time. And I think for many telcos, they're kind of realizing that they need to embark on this journey to become 5G cloud digital service providers rather than just the traditional kind of stale telco model we've seen before. How does the market look to you for 5G BSS vendors?
I think it's intriguing. I came over a year ago with a hypothesis on how the market looked, and I've been surprised by how accurate I've been, which is not always typical for me. But the 5G investment cycle is ramped in its role, and we all know that, but it's RAN based, and it'll peak out about 2023 if you look at the common consensus. 5G revenue, however, has been going at a very slow clip. I think it was Juniper Research last week talked about the market right now is $73 billion at the end of 2021, or about 8% of revenue. So that's going to create a significant TCO imperative, because even that revenue in its first 2 years being tracked by Juniper, they've indicated it's declining upwards of 50% year over year. So that gets us to the cloud, the subject of the day. But the truth is, it's the various surveys of operators have showed that typically no more than 15% of them have done greater than 25% of their workloads to move to the cloud. So there's a lot of room to go, early stages, TCO imperative. And when I see what the spend looks like on the BSS side, it looks to me, Harry, like it's going to be gradual and iterative in accordance with a multi-step migration to a public or private cloud, whatever you choose. But there is an incentive here of why it'll move quick, because operators today still pay a significant amount of money to maintenance and support services. And there's no question, particularly for legacy services, we've seen a strong desire to move off of those into what will be a more favorable operating environment in the cloud.
And from an Optiva perspective, would you say you're in a good position to kind of meet this opportunity?
I would say we are. I mean, for a couple of reasons. One, we're investing heavily in the product. As I said, $20 million allows us to do a lot of things. And frankly, we already have references in the public cloud, the private cloud, and the hybrid cloud, which gives us that foundation, if you will, to move from. And with the investment, we're revolutionizing how we think about the user interface, the cloud data management model. You've seen a number of blogs I've written on that subject, which I think is very interesting. We're heavily into automation. We right now can achieve upwards of 80% automation on UAT, or user acceptance testing. And frankly, with our reliability from the past, we're in good shape from a product standpoint. Now we're investing in service fulfillment. How do you get this? Everyone talks about time to market. I'd say, Harry, it's time to benefit. How do you get the benefits of your product? Get to market fine, but does it really produce use cases out of the box? Does it really shorten your time? Does it really create a revenue dynamic for you more in line with the online players have today? So that's a big metric for us. And in fact, I brought in a customer success leader focused wholly on how we make the time to benefit better, quicker, faster, and with a improved ROI over what's been the traditional way of working.
And in terms of 5G BSS domain more specifically, what do you think are the fundamental challenges that need to be addressed when it comes to 5G?
I think at the top of the pyramid, I kind of smile because I'm a bit of a movie buff, and two lines from two different movies come to mind. There's a famous line by Kevin Costner in a baseball movie he did many, many years ago where he said, "Build it, they will come." And he built a beautiful, wonderful field in a cornfield that everyone, played baseball on.
Field of Dreams.
And there's Field of Dreams, exactly. Yeah, you've seen it. And smile because half the boards and boardrooms are full of that for 5G. And then the other half are, kind of another end of the movie, a Tom Cruise movie where he played a role, Jerry Maguire, a sports agent, where his erstwhile client said, "Show me the money, Jerry." So you've got the Field of Dreams that 5G's just built it and it fills up. You've got the show me the money. So my decision was, hey, rather than us try to do the traditional manner of use case based planning, which we have some scenarios, let's think about it if I'm a customer. I don't know my customer profile yet. I'm still working on new use cases. I'm not sure about the business model. What it will look like. Will it be CapEx, OpEx, et cetera? And then how do I take care of this incumbency legacy system? So really, to be successful in 5G, you've got to adhere to those principles so that when an operator does start to select where they could play, where the use case is, they can be adaptable, flexible, and successful in a short period of time.
So in terms of kind of addressing those challenges, what do you think is going to be the key? Is it mostly about changing your approach?
It really is about that. You've got it. I mean, for me, it's about an approach that the online vendors, hyperscalers have been using, or of course, online e-commerce anywhere. As I said, I'm out here in Silicon Valley, so it's deep in the ethos of what's your TCO? Don't buy what you don't need. So be asset light. What's your ROI? Can you maximize your service velocity because you're not sure which service is going to quite work? Can you time to market? Do you have zero touch automation or minimal manual steps? And then OpEx, how do you enable that fast fail process? You get those right. Those are kind of the cardinal rules of what I think of, as I said earlier, time to benefit. Let's get those right. We'll get you to time to benefit and we'll solve this together.
And another thing we're seeing is CSPs and even other new players are really entering the fast growing MVNO domain. What do you think are the drivers for this?
Well, I think this is very, very interesting because there's always that surge of MVNOs, MVNXs after each G. That's typical. But this one's a little bit unique, in my opinion. And I pick up on a comment an analyst, Tom Knoll, made recently in a white paper he published, which is that 40% of the CSP's OpEx is spent on customer acquisition. That's a lot of money. That's tough to do. And there's only so much you can do, especially because we've been mainly consumer focused. And there's a large drive to go to enterprise. So my hypothesis is there's a significant opportunity for specialist MVNXs, people who know certain segments, know certain markets. There's a $125 billion TAM out there over the next 5 years. I don't think the operator necessarily wants to spend 40%. And I don't think they necessarily want to acquire additional skills to go after new verticals. So why not partner with MVNOs, MVNX partners who know how to do this, can go after that segment quite well. And on the other end of this, the consumer side, there's still an opportunity to introduce a digital brand that's targeted more toward the transactional nature of a new younger subscriber to your system. So I think MVNO is going to play a big deal in this 5G launch. They solve a lot of business issues.
In terms of Optiva as a company itself, how are you kind of approaching this growing market?
Well, we've just launched a specific, what we call starter kit fast pack for people who either want to move into the MVNO space, or are already in there and want to boost and really change the game. And the promise we're making to the market is faster delivery, 90 days or less, you're up and running. Service introduction, new service introduction capability in 3 hours or less. A 4-click digital experience, a 46% TCO savings on prior baselines. And we already have a reference for this in the Middle East. So we think this is the new way of working. Tell us what you want, how you want it. And what I think of it is, it's now a software business, not a services business. That's a complete transformation. I come out of the software side. I was a decade-long CEO of a software company. That proved to be the game changer in the data plane. And I think, quite frankly, it's going to be the game changer in this plane.
I guess that brings you quite nicely to my last question for you, John, which is really just, what does innovation look like in BSS? How would you describe innovation?
I think it's kind of interesting. I think now we've had a 180 view on innovation, that it's all kind of driven by patents and R&D and all the conventional places you look for innovation. I actually think innovation's across the business. It's a 360 view. I've said to my team, we want to have 100% cloud run company, and we're just about there. We will be by the end of the year. So automation isn't just a customer value, it's a value to us, for example. So I think when we look at innovation now, we're going to look at both the product side, of course, traditional places, and how we can innovate, but also on the business side, how we can be commercially more agile and flexible. Certainly on the business models, haven't yet seen a large migration to a public SaaS model, but it's certainly some portion of the market is likely to go there where it makes sense. But regardless, to be able to run a private cloud, you still have to have a significant amount of innovation, because our database management will take place in different domains and at different points in the network. So we're looking very hard at how we reinvent the database management side of things, how we reinvent the TCO side of things. Do you need to buy your gear? Disaster recovery, for example, in the cloud, supporting a private cloud deployment. There's lots of places to go and lots of opportunity. And it's an opportune time because people are looking for that.
John, as always, it's so good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time today.
Harry, thank you very much. It's a delight to spend this time with you.